Hello.
Hello.
How are you both today?
I'm very good. It was my work from home day today, and I got to listen to the rest of this morning. So
You got,
I'm
you got to
happy.
finish it in time for the live.
Yeah, I did, and I also finished another book today as well. So I'm feeling good.
Hey, nice.
That's good. I did wonder last night on your live whether when I saw you still reading it, I was like, oh, I thought I was going to be the one cutting it fine.
Oh no, I only had 2 hours left this morning,
Oh, that's all right, not too
so
bad.
I was all good.
Easy.
Easy reading, easy.
Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
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 I have a Lottie. So obviously the main question for the comments and for you two, what did you rate it?
Mm, 5 stars.
Obviously, it was a 5-star for me as well.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm just. I've literally just said this before I came on. I didn't think you could get better. I know you could get better characters because we all know what I feel about some of the characters, but like I just enjoyed it. as soon as I started it, and I knew I'd get through it quickly. That's why I wasn't worried that I'd only sort of started it yesterday.
Yeah.
And because I knew that I would just smash through it.
I sat and read the whole thing on Becca's sprints on Sunday, and that was like what 4.5 hours, and it
It's
wasn't
so
all,
good.
and what that wasn't all reading time.
It was
No.
hilarious that you were just like at the beginning of the sprints, like, I want to get a chunk of this read today. And then you basically read almost the entire thing just on the sprint.
And tabbed and made notes,
Exactly.
all with my eyeballs.
With my eyeballs.
There's no ear involvement.
I'm so glad I was able to join today. Thought I was going to finish work at 7, but managed to get off early. I'm glad you did. 7 pages to go mute until I finish. Yeah. Hello. 5 stars. 5 stars.
Go Cassie, yeah. Go Cassie, yeah.
Catherine, do you want to show off your tabs?
I haven't tabbed, so
Mine are quite
That we
pale
did.
colours, actually.
Yeah, I have like specific ones because they're like very different colours and very bright. And
Yeah,
but
I started a little chart.
I have that also. Do you like what my bookmark I use? It's Gem.
Ooh, I wonder if
I
have
have these. I have these character cards. I also have a Tessa and a Will as well. So, but I use Gem
where are they
obviously.
from?
But no, I don't think they were. They were from an artist, but I can't remember who. And I actually. No, these weren't the ones I won in a giveaway. They might have been Fairy Loot. I won some in a giveaway, but they were like bigger prints. But yeah, I have my key here, but I was saying to Lisa and Catherine before that I need to change my blue because currently my blue is for sadness, but some of these blues were happy tears. So I'm just going to change it to crying in general instead of sadness because it doesn't always mean sadness. This just makes me want to read The Last Hour this much quicker. May or may not have already pre-ordered the third and final book.
Oh,
I've pre-ordered.
totally.
I've pre-ordered the standard, but I actually have 4 different editions of Chain of Gold and Chain of Iron. So I've pre-ordered the standard edition because that's the only one currently I can. But I'm waiting for Fairy Loot and Illumicrate to announce their editions of Chain of Thorns. And Waterstones still haven't put the Rune edition up on the site, and it's really frustrating me now.
My friend wants it because my friend was at MCM Comic Con back in May, and she thought it was going to go up live, and she messaged me and she was like, if it goes live, place my order for me. This is what the extra thing is that I want for free delivery. Like, do it. And it never happened.
I know.
So I don't know. I've got the Illumicrate version of Chain of Iron, the second one, but I never got the first one. So now I'm like, there's no point me buying the third one because it just feels silly.
Yeah,
So,
I was
but
very
I've got
lucky.
all the standard editions though. They're just as funny though.
I was very lucky that I managed to get all of the editions. Lucky and no control. Well, I kind of have control because at Yale I didn't get the Fane editions that they were selling there.
Yeah, but the
I
Fane
could have.
editions.
But the Fane editions are only an extra.
It's just the dust jacket.
Dust jacket.
Like I wouldn't pay 50 quid for 2 books just with a dust jacket on. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I've got a spare copy of Lady Midnight because I won a signed one, and then I'd already got a copy of a copy anyway. And I was going to unhaul it when I was unhauling books the other day, and I thought to myself, no, I'm going to keep that, and I'm actually going to tab and write in that one. Like I wouldn't usually write in a book, but like as it's my spare, I'm going to write in it for when we get to that one.
See, I have 2 editions of the Dark Art of Isis series because I have the gorgeous rune editions and just standard paper. Well, I say standard paperbacks. They're not this size paperback. They're the big paperbacks.
Mine's the big one. Yeah.
Yeah, but I have all 3 in the big paperback. So yeah. Has anyone read that manga series, Cassandra Clare series? I've read Clockwork Angel, like the manga of Clockwork Angel, but I haven't read any of the others. Yeah. I have volumes. I think I only have the first 3 volumes of the Mortal Instruments, and I think volume 5. Actually, I might have the first 4, but I know volume 5 is now out, so I'm going to need to get that. But I haven't actually started them yet. But the Infernal Devices, I've read Clockwork Angel.
Are they any good?
I love the artwork. The artwork's gorgeous. I mean, I don't know about the Mortal Instruments, but the Infernal Devices ones is the exact. It's the same story. It's just in manga. So yeah, but I really enjoyed Clockwork Angel, but I just haven't got around to reading the other 2. I should, because they're manga, so they'll be really quick reads. But I might leave it till like the end of the year when I'm trying to hit a target on Goodreads and just spend the last few days just reading manga.
What was that new edition that you got recently, Lisa? There was a Cassandra Clare book that you had.
Oh, it was City of Bones. It was the 15-year anniversary. From what I know, correct me if I'm wrong, because Becca will know more than me. They should doing at least the first 6 books in that version. So
that's I think, good. At least they haven't sort of,
because what I was gonna do anyway, I was gonna try and buy the first series because I found them on like book depository and something like individually, but it would have cost like over £150 to get them all, so might as well just get them ones.
Yeah, I do like that they're doing the rune editions because like I have the rune editions of the Dark Art of Isis, the first 2 books in the Eldest Curse series and the first 2 books in the Last Hours, but they never did rune editions for this series or Mortal Instruments. So the fact that they're doing them for the Mortal Instruments makes me so happy, and I'm hoping they will do them for this as well, because the 15th anniversary of these 3 books ties in with the 15th anniversary of some of the Mortal Instruments. So I'm hoping that they actually do them for that, because then I can have every single Cassie book in Rune Edition. Well, I don't think they would do the short stories.
Did you get those ones from, was it Fairy Loot or Illumicrate did ones with, was it Infernal Devices ones?
Oh,
yeah, I did, but I sold mine. No, Fairy Loot did Dark Art of Isis, but the covers were just the same as the paperback covers, so I didn't bother. Illumicrate did do this trilogy in hardback.
That's what
gorgeous, but they were the size of a paperback, not a hardback, but they were hardback.
No way.
So I sold it. I sold mine. I was like, I don't want them. They're not going to fit on my special edition shelf. So I kept the items that came in the box, but I sold the books because I was like, I want to get my money back at least. So yeah, I'm still really annoyed that because they didn't realise it. There was obviously miscommunication because Illumicrate weren't told that they would be that size. As far as Illumicrate knew, they were going to be the size of a hardback, but they weren't. So yeah, and it would have cost far too much to get them remade. So, and I think that was around about the time of the paper shortage, so it wasn't going to happen. So yeah. I've pre-ordered Litjoy and now waiting for Fairy Loot and Illumicrate, plus I'm hoping the Italian small shop I bought, Dust Jackets, does the 3rd book, considering buying one more standard for the reverse Dust Jacket. Yeah, I mean, I don't... I will be reversing the Dust Jacket on mine because on one side you have Grace, and on the other you have James, and I don't like Grace. Like, I hate her. So I will be reversing the dust jacket and having James because I don't like Grace. So I'm really glad they're doing that, because when they revealed the cover, I was like, I hate this. Like, I've never hated anything more than this right here, because I hate her and I don't want her on the cover of my book. But yeah, I didn't get the Litjoy ones because I think it's just a standard edition, but it's got a slipcase, because I think Liv got the first two. So I didn't bother with the Litjoy one. Plus with the shipping, I was like, I can't really justify it. So I just stuck with the 4 that I already have from UK places. Okay, I'm finished. 4 stars. Does anyone else who audioed it think Benedict sounds very... Oh my God, he does.
As soon as I heard his voice, I'm like, Jesus Christ, he's back from the dead. Like, what the... Like, it did give me Snape vibes. It was very freaky.
See, now you've said it, I can hear it.
Yeah, it was very weird, because obviously with the actor also being dead, I was like, oh. But yeah, I did. I really, really enjoyed it though.
So first thing that I want to talk about, I think it was actually on the first page. It's technically page 7, but the first page. Not all shadow hunters could hear ghosts unless the ghost chose to be heard, but Will was one of those who could. This is new information that we have about Will, that he can see ghosts.
I know.
And I'm loving this. Also, yes. Yes.
Oh my God, literally one of my things I wrote on my notes, Benedict Lightwood, arse.
Well, I think one of mine...
literally wrote that.
What was one of mine? I think one of mine was just... oh no, it was one of mine was Benedict's party, Nate being Blur.
Oh, yeah, Nate was very like...
Yeah. And now I want to listen to the audio. Listen to it just for that. I really liked the audio of these. I know there's a few people that don't, but I really like them.
I just don't like the fact that they still say Steely.
I must have missed that as well. I agree with Lottie. I must have missed that bit at the beginning.
It's literally the first page.
I know.
It's the first page, and it's
the second paragraph.
But nothing else is mentioned about it for the rest of the book.
No.
From what I remember,
well, to be fair, it makes sense for them. It's a prologue, and that information is only relevant to what's happening in the prologue, because he's meeting a ghost.
Yeah.
He doesn't meet any other ghosts in the rest of this. No. So it makes sense for it to only be mentioned in the prologue, because that's the only time it's relevant. But it's an interesting little fact. One thing I will say, how much do we absolutely adore Charlotte in this book? Like, there's Benedict being all like, oh, women can't run an institute. Like, can they not? I like that they addressed that Henry's not running the institute with Charlotte's help. Charlotte's running the institute while Henry almost blows it up. Like, I'm liking how I like how they're addressing the fact that they know that it's Charlotte that's running the institute. Like, they're not like sugarcoating it anymore.
Yeah, I do like, they addressed it, but there's obviously, I mean, it's not different to real life, is it really? With the way that women are still treated.
The thing is, though, it does make sense because of the time period. Like, they are still, and to be fair, I like how, even though it is relevant to the time period, they make a point of like reminding us constantly that shadow hunters are a bit more tolerant. So like, if this was like non-shadow hunter things, no women would ever be allowed to do anything like that. But shadow hunters are a little bit tolerant because they have actually allowed it, but they're just going to constantly like dig at everything she does. So they're allowing it, which is better than like non-shadow hunters, but they're going to just pick at everything she does and find fault with everything she does. But I absolutely love her in this. And like, well, I mean, we can talk. We're not going to do this in order necessarily of like events in the book. We're going to talk about the entire book here. Like, when she blackmails Benedict at the end, I was just like,
Yeah, I was like, she's just a badass bitch.
Like there was actually, wait, where was the actual line? I'm gonna find it because she absolutely cracks me up, and I love her to pieces. I think it was actually Tessa that said this. Although I could be wrong, what do I know about these things? I'm only a silly woman. And it's just like, throw it in his face. Tessa and Charlotte are like two of my favourites. But also like Sophie in this book is just everything, and I love Sophie.
She comes out of her shell so much, and I love that she's still a side character, but she's a more prominent side character, and you get to know her a bit more. And you do get a little bit like when she sees Jessamine doing what she's doing. You see it a bit from Sophie's perspective as well, and she's a proper little feisty one as well, isn't she?
I love
that. I have two notes. One is Sophie slapping Gabriel and Gideon praising her, and then the next note I made, I hit her on the head with a mirror.
I loved that bit. I love her. I just thought she's just so badass there. Just comes out of her shell like. I did it in the heat of the moment, but oh my god, I did something I shouldn't have done.
But I will like
Sophie.
No, Sophie. That's like,
Sophie.
please stop repeating that. Stop repeating that. Yes.
I wrote a note at the beginning, like Sophie really likes Jem, but she knows he likes Tessa with a sad face.
I know.
It's just like, oh no.
I think that might have been just like a little girly crush thing though, because Jem is so nice.
Yeah.
Because she does acknowledge that at the end, that it's kind of called into a friendship thing.
Yeah.
My note was Sophie thinking Jem's 1,000 times better looking than Will. Correct. Like, I love Will. Don't get me wrong. I love Will. But Jem will always be better. Henry's just here for the vibes.
I just, if Henry was a TikTok, he'd be that one of Tom Hardy, just like. Just like this, like in the background, with Charlotte, like,
and he's like, "What?"
Can we just like again skipping around the book here? But I messaged you at this bit, like when I said, "Oh my God, Henry and Charlotte," like the conversation that they eventually had after so many years of being together. None of them are. This is like miscommunication. The trope. This is miscommunication trope that. I like they haven't hated each other because of something that had been said. It's just they both assumed what they assumed, still stayed together, hoping that the other one would learn to love them, and still wanted to make it work regardless. But then they're both like, but I thought it was you, and then he was like, no, I thought it was you, and it was like, oh,
could we really both have been so stupid?
Like both of them loved each other. Both of them was waiting to just like, well, I love them, but like I'll wait for them to love me. They'll love me over time. Like, but you both think, oh, that whole thing was just like, I don't have a heart, but it's melting.
There was a lot of blue there because I was like happy crying because they're just so adorable and I love them so much. And
it was just
Charlotte is pregnant.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry for any headphone users, aka me and Catherine.
I literally was like, oh, I love that part. Oh.
But just and like, can we just appreciate Henry wanting to name the child Buford? And Charlotte's like, no, that's not happening.
Absolutely not.
Charlotte will forever be my queen. Love Sophie. Charlotte's definitely one of my favourite characters, and I love her relationship with Henry. Second best relationship in the Shadowhunter world. Oh, I'm. Who's your favourite? Who is your favourite? Oh, wait. If your favourite is going to spoil anything, don't say what your favourite is.
Don't say
just realised that.
If your favourite's in the books before this,
go for it.
After, no. Let's not.
Agreed. Not my ship. who's not your ship? And who is... Oh, yeah, it has to be Alec Magnus. Yeah, hands down Malik. Okay, cool.
Malik.
That one's fine. That's fine. That scene makes me cry every time with Charlotte and Henry. It's one of the few times miscommunication is used well. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
When they mentioned Henry's middle name is Jocelyn, that was a nice little spot there.
Oh.
I completely forgot about that. And then I was reading it, I was like, huh, oh yeah. It's one of those little details you don't
But you
really think
they
about.
are their child, aren't they? So it kind of makes sense.
Well, Charlotte is a Fairchild, not Henry.
Not Henry, no.
Henry's Bramwell.
Oh, really?
Charlotte married into the Bramwell family, but she is a Fairchild.
Mm.
So
Is she gonna? I was gonna say the daughter Jocelyn, but it'd be too early for that, wouldn't it?
yeah, way too
Way
early.
too early.
Way too early because this is like 18 something and the other one's
Yeah.
like God knows what.
2005.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see how they connect. Sorry, I'm making connections out there.
I think it's probably just a nod that like Jocelyn is a Shadowhunter name that's been used through the years. Malik always, yes. Makes me wonder what happens to the Bramwell name because it's not in TMI. It's not.
Yeah.
And I can't actually remember if it's in any of the other more recent books. But I mean, there are quite a few Shadowhunter family names that you do see in this. Obviously, the Lightwoods and the Herondales are the main two that you know.
Yes.
But there are more which you will see the names pop up at points. And that's all I'm saying.
I'm trying to remember the surnames of the people in the Dark Artificers without saying it out loud, and I can't remember.
Agree. I have to agree with this one. I'm sorry. I'm
What?
sorry.
No.
I can't.
I'm on the Gem and Tessa side.
You will not be muted then.
Hey, now listen, right?
I will not accept Jessa slander here.
Will is just like, oh, look at me, I'm late to the party. Oh, Tessa, I really like you. Oh, whoops, Gem, I was already,
But he thought he was cursed by a demon. You can't be mean about him. He's not like I was playing the field and I was just waiting for someone else to come along and then.
But
blah,
that's
blah, blah.
what he made everyone think. So you can imagine what like.
Well, he was
Tessa's
12
feeling
years
like.
old. He thought he was cursed. So he said anyone who loves you will die. So obviously, and then obviously the day after his sister then dies, the child was traumatized. Clearly,
You would have thought
you're not
over
gonna
the
want
years.
anyone else to love
Yeah, but you
you.
would have thought over the years, as he grew up and learned about demons, it would have clicked. Oh wait, she got hit by the demon. If it scratched her, she would have died anyway. Like, yeah, when it happened, you can understand his stupidity because he was just a naive little kid who didn't know anything. But then he's like 17, almost 18 now. Like, you would have thought he would have figured that out by this point. So there's no excuse there. But can we appreciate him just like running after that demon and getting its tooth? Just being like, Magnus, I have the tooth.
That bit made me laugh. Like I was literally there, and then it was just like it's like describing how he was just bleeding. He's like, "Well, I got the tooth."
And it's like,
can we summon the demon
like,
now?
You got blood on Camille's carpet. She's not going to be happy. Well, it's blood. I thought she'd be fine with it. It's just like, I love his like
comments,
just his little like one-liners that he very clearly doesn't even need to think about. It's just how he is. But I just when Tessa and Jem kissed, I was like, my heart was just so happy. Even though I knew it was going to happen because I've read these books before.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I was just like, just kiss her, just kiss her, just kiss him, just kiss him. And then they kissed and I was like, yes! Like I didn't know it was going to happen.
For me, though, this may change, but the way that she seems to have to remind herself, I love Jem. Like the way when we're listening to it, and she's just like, I love Jem. It's like she has to remind herself, like, no, I love Jem. I love Jem. It's like she's trying to force herself that with her and Will, it's an automatic feeling. It's an automatic, like, she loves him. She knows she's loved him for a while, and that is it. With Jem, it feels like she's only trying to reciprocate his love because he's admitted he loves her and he's a nice guy.
Yeah, but she also has that whole like internal like meltdown, like, wait, can I love two people at once? And then she's like doubting herself, and like, because it's not really something that was talked about back then. So she's grown up with a certain mindset and she's got to unlearn it and learn new things. And, she can, you know, she can just let herself admit that she loves them both, because you can love two people at once. But,
And the only
she does
reason,
love Jem,
yeah, the only
but
reason
because Will was there first, and she's constantly
yeah.
like, but wait, I love Will. No, I love Jem. And it's like the confusion. Like, I feel her pain, man.
But what gets me is that when she was describing, like, when Will said that he loved her and explained everything, her, again, it might be the way that it's written, but it's like she's trying to she's obviously Sophie's just said don't break Jem's heart. It's like it's she's not staying with Jem because she wants him over Will. It's that she said this to Sophie, she wouldn't break his heart, but also she knows that Jem would be hurt by it and but wouldn't say anything, and she feels like it would put a wedge between those two. That's how it's explained, anyways. That she's doing it to cause less harm,
I
and
think it
not to
is
rock the
partly
boat a
that.
little bit.
It
Not
is
that she
probably
actually
partly
loves
that.
Jem more.
I don't think she loves Jem more, but she does love Jem in that way as well. I mean, that moment in the bedroom when they kiss, she definitely has feelings for him. Otherwise, that would not have been as passionate as it was. I hate that this is a YA series so much, because that could have been so much more.
I know, my brain was just like, and
I was like, I wish they were older and this was an adult book.
there's a
Like,
word
this is why we turn to fan fiction.
There's a word that I have to keep typing at work, and no joke, I nearly wrote "no fucking allowed" instead of funding, and I was like, "No, stop, stop! Don't write that on a spreadsheet. You've been listening to too much romance."
Too much smoke.
Like here, I tab this bit where Will's kisses were all fire. Jem's were like pure air after a long time of being closed up in the airless dark.
Oh.
Someone kiss me like Jem, please.
Just Jem.
Just Jem, please.
The things I almost say and then remember it's spoiler. Yeah, at least you have the opportunity to just backspace before you press enter. I have to be really careful what I say. Like, my brain is thinking of a few things, but they would be massive spoilers. I really don't think Will allowed himself a lot of thought into what really happened that night, even after years of being a Shadowhunter.
Yeah, that's
he just got it
thing.
into his head and then didn't actually use his brain. For a smart boy, he's so not smart.
No.
But there's things about demons that he still doesn't know. He's only a kid, isn't he? He's still only a teenager. And obviously he is very much a case of, like, he didn't want to think about what happened to him, and it's only that like, he admitted that he'd closed himself off to everyone, thinking that was the best thing. And it was only since meeting her and having feelings for her that he actually started to open up and think, like, start to look into it. And that's when he went to Magnus, and that's when he started, like, everything has come out. But yeah, for me at the moment, it, again, just things might change, and it might be more about her and Jem being, like, the end goal, whatever. But just by the way it's explained in this, it is very much like she's settling for Jem because he's the safe option, and that's how it reads to me anyway. And she does
I
love
feel
him.
like it's the other way, because surely she would be settling for Will, because Jem is literally reminding her constantly, I am dying, it will be a short life with me. Like, I feel like she's doing the opposite of settling, because she knows being with Jem means she's not going to get much time with him, and it's going to break her heart. Like,
yeah, but she's not gonna she doesn't want to be that person that's gonna break his heart. Because after she's agreed to marry him, we know, obviously, again, we start talking like it's real life, but we know that if he had asked her to marry him and Will had have said that, she'd have been on it like a cab on it. Like, knowing, she knew that Jem had feelings for her from when they kissed, and obviously her and Sophie have had the discussion. If he hadn't have gone to the room at that point and asked her to marry him, as soon as Will said that, she'd been like, right, yeah, me and you endgame. It's only because he's asked her to marry him. She said yes. Sophie's then said don't break his heart. She would feel guilty about affecting their potentially parabetide relationship and their bond. And it feels very much like, and it reads very much like at the moment, that she's settling because she doesn't want to hurt Jem.
But also,
And
I don't think she wants to be hurt by Will again, because he hurt her. When they had that conversation on the rooftop at the end of the first book, he hurt her, and now
yeah, but
he's
she's
suddenly
now,
like excusing all of his, like, he's excusing it by being like, oh, I thought there was a curse on me, so I thought I had to push you away. And it's like, that's
what I don't.
not a good enough excuse.
That's what I don't like. I feel like
I just want to point out, I'm not anti-Will. I do very much love Will Herrington.
But maybe because that would be very much me. I'd be very much a Will in that situation.
I do like Will, but for me, Jem and Tessa have always been endgame since like book 1, and I'm just like,
so adorable. I love them.
I just love them.
Not for me.
I wish Cassie Clare just let Tessa have both. This is why in my brain, this is a love triangle, and they're all like a happy little trio. Like, and I will forever have that in my brain. No one can take it from me. Like, also, yes, I feel that Will would be fine with a poly relationship.
Yeah, I would be.
Maybe if these characters were in a more modern setting, maybe. But I feel like because it was written in the time that it was written.
And obviously these were written 15 years ago. Back then, can you imagine anyone writing anything about a poly relationship?
This one was written in 2013, so nearly 10 years ago.
Yeah, nearly 10 years ago.
Yeah, no, probably not.
No, but it was really... Hardly anyone was writing about queer relationships, let alone poly and queer. Like...
Yeah.
Do genuinely believe that Tessa had feelings for both, the same way, but written much better than the love triangle between Clary, Jason, Simon. Yes, definitely. At least Tessa doesn't have to worry about being related to one of her love interests.
All of that, yeah. That is so true.
God, the first kiss between Tessa and Jem.
I enjoyed that. I did enjoy that. Like, that was very much like, I did forget for a moment it was YA, and I was like, yes. And then I was like, oh no. I was like, there's no spice, no spice. I like my spice. But yeah, I'm still gonna be.
Can we appreciate when they're in the carriage and they start kissing again? And Jem's like, maybe we do need a chaperone.
But wait, what was it? Jessamine's like, if you don't want people to tell that you've been kissing, don't wear a hat or whatever. I was like, oh my god.
I thought that was so funny.
While we're on this, I'm going to get through these comments, then we're going to talk about Jessamine because...
Oh, don't. She makes me crawl. I want to kill her.
Agree with Lisa. I feel like Tessa is settling because she doesn't want to break either Jem or Will's heart, but she's stuck. Will, the morally grey character with a fear of ducks. Everything to love. Before we talk about Jessamine, Magnus kissing Will to make Camille jealous.
That made me smile.
And Will's just like, okay. Okay.
And the fact he was flapping his arms around, and she was like, she thought it was passion. And it was just like, no.
And then they walk out, and he's like, "Did you just kiss me?" No. Okay.
No, because the side like drugs can make you hallucinate, whatever. Like whatever you can make you hallucinate, and it was just like, all right, okay, yeah, we didn't kiss. I was like,
Magnus is everything, but you know how we always say Magnus is perfect. This book proves he's not completely perfect. Do you know why? Do you know what? He dog ears books.
Oh yeah.
So he's not perfect.
Savage.
So yeah.
He still is. I think we can forgive that because it's Magnus.
I lived when that's yes. Okay, right, Jessamine.
Bitch.
Oh, Jessamine.
honestly,
She could take a long walk off a short pier. I'm
yeah,
sorry, nobody
Reese
is
was
that
right.
naive. Nobody is that naive. After the
I'm like, he
right.
does love me. He does love me. I'm like, play the other record. Like, come on.
It makes it more
Right.
annoying because she's got such a whiny voice. Oh my god, he does love me. He loves me.
Oh,
No,
see, it
he
was only the
doesn't.
voice in my head, not the audio.
Like, the thing is, like, she has an entire like institute full of people who care about her, even though she is not a nice person,
Oh, she's
and she's going after the person just because he's not a shadow hunter. That's literally all she cares about. And it's like, please stop. Please stop. And
like,
I
all
didn't feel sorry for her in the slightest when
no,
Brother Enoch brought out the mortal sword. I was like,
no.
yeah, make her tell the truth.
I mean, I didn't like her in the first book, and that was before she betrayed everyone and literally like stabbed him in the back and just ripped Charlotte's poor heart out. That whole thing when Charlotte, you could tell that she was just trying to be strong and like act like she didn't care, and then having to explain to Henry, and he was like, and he was like, Jessamine, and
Our
she's like,
Jessie? Like,
yes, yes,
oh.
like. That's the bit that you don't laugh at. That you're just like, Henry, just shut up and accept it. Stop
Yeah, it's
making
like,
her
Henry,
repeat it
stop
because
it.
she's gonna cry.
But
And
like the fact that she just has like a breakdown when once Brother Enoch's taken Jessamine, and I'm just like, I just want to hug her. She deserves all the happiness, and I'm just like, you don't deserve to be hurt by someone you love. Like,
but
you
the
can
thing is,
expect someone like Benedict to hurt her because it's Benedict, but not
yeah.
Jessamine. Like, why?
But for me, that was just even if we all know that Jessamine we know what she's wanted for ages. You know, she wants the whole to be a wife to and whatever. She doesn't want to be part of the Shadowhunter world, and I get that. But she could have got that without betraying the people she cared about. If
Yeah.
the people she really didn't want to be a Shadowhunter, and I had a proper conversation with Charlotte rather than being a little fucking whiny bitch about it. Charlotte probably would have been like, right, okay, I'm gonna finally accept it. You don't want to be a Shadowhunter. You can go out and marry a mortal if you want to do whatever. You know, just be happy. But not only did she just sort of like break Charlotte's heart by like really solidifying that she don't want to be a Shadowhunter and that she looks down on them and thinks they're beneath her, she just went and just shat all over them like after they raised her. They
But then,
raised her
Yeah.
like,
then there's
and I was,
there's the potential bit that Nate could have been a shadow hunter as well,
oh, that bit, yeah.
and that was really
like her face, she's like, what?
what?
Like, that would have been like one of the like biggest like moments of karma. Like,
Yeah.
just I would have like loved for that to happen.
I really
and
wanted
just
that to be a
like,
thing.
wait, what?
Yeah.
She would have been like, wait, what?
I really
Also,
wanted that to be a thing.
fight me, Becca. What's wrong with Doreen? Right, what you do to your own books is fine, but he dogged Camille's book. If it was his book, it wouldn't have been as bad. But he dogged somebody else's book. That's what's wrong.
That's not on.
The parallels to that kiss in the moment Camille tried to make Alec jealous in TMI. Yeah, there are so many things that, like, if you've read the TMI series, you're just like, ah.
I didn't clock that bit.
I was done with Jessamine from the first chapter when she was chuckling when Benedict was questioning Charlotte being in charge. I was done with Jessamine from book one.
Yeah. Yeah. Did someone tell me that she grows on you?
I mean, I said she kind of does, but not.
I mean, in this book, you do sort of feel sorry for a little bit, but like
No, you don't.
not a
I
lot
do.
really.
Like, I want to feel bad for her since this wasn't the life she wanted, but the people who died because she betrayed them, it stops me from feeling bad for her. Like, this is karma. Jessamine was really infuriating. These people took you in and care for you despite you making clear your feelings for the Shadowhunter world. It wasn't even she didn't know better, just pure selfish.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just love the fact that Sophie was like, she's been sneaking out at night. It's like, you little dobber.
But also, excuse me, Sophie, you've been sneaking out with Gideon.
Yeah. Oh, that bit. I was like,
I actually wrote in my notes, Gideon and Gabriel are horrible. I didn't really like. I just in some parts later on gave me just bad vibes.
I
just
love
wasn't
Gideon.
keen.
I love Gideon. Like in the first book, we don't really see him. We just see him as like the dutiful son who just stands there and like acts all high and mighty because he went off to like the Spanish Institute for a bit.
Yeah.
But like in this book, you actually get to see him and realize like he's actually nothing like Benedict, and Gabriel needs to actually like grow a backbone. And stop just being like, oh, I need to stand by our father and so should you. It's like, no, you need to do what's right, like Gideon is.
That bit for me, I mean, you could tell from when they were first introduced as the people that were training the girls. You could see the difference between the way that Gabriel was and the way that Gideon was. And then the more that Gideon spent time with Sophie, the more he came out and was like, obviously, he said that he realised, well, obviously when he did his little speech at the end, he realised what his father was actually doing. And the way that he grew up, he thought that what his father was doing was normal. And that every shadow hunter did that anyway. And then realising after spending time with the others, that wasn't the way that other shadow hunters acted, and being in Spain and that, realising that that's not how other families act, and that what his father was doing was wrong and did break the rules. He then realised that he couldn't stand by it anymore, and that was just like it rose in my estimation. Yeah,
It's growth.
it's like but it's true that if he grew up around that thinking it was normal, he's not going to know any different. But when he did go out and experience the world and came back, and then he learned from it, and he was like, right, okay, then, this isn't. But and then Gabriel knew and was still like, I'm standing by my dad anyway.
Yeah.
But still openly told everyone that it was Charlotte's dad's fault that his mum died, knowing that it wasn't. That was just like, it's not her fault, so why are you still telling everyone it is?
Can we appreciate we now know why Gabriel hates Will so much, though?
He broke his
with
heart.
the whole reading out Tatiana's diary where she's like, I love Will, and then when Gabriel like tries to strangle him, he just breaks his arm.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh.
Like embarrassed to like stand up for your sister, and you get embarrassed in front of everyone.
And then years later, he gets slapped by Sophie, who to him is just a servant, and it's just like
that bit was it. I was just like, bitch.
And then Gideon literally praising her for it. It's like,
yeah, you deserved it.
You've been taken in our training. It's like, yes. One of my favourite bits of this book is the bit where you find out that not only does Benedict have demon pox, but demon pox is real, and then Will is just like singing a song about him being right.
I can imagine that bit to have been brilliant on audio. Like I had to just like sing it in a little tune
in my mind.
Head.
I was watching that scene on TV. I was watching Will dance around singing his little song, being like, "Do you mean what I was right?"
And like you just know Jim's like, oh, he's never gonna let us live this day, because he's constantly like, demon pox isn't a thing, Will, and he's like, yes it is, and it's like, yeah it is.
He's like, I'm right.
I love how it's like, seize that infernal racket.
Right, Camille deserves a lot of things, but no one deserves to have their personal books dog-eared, and I'll die on this.
Camille does deserve that. Camille does deserve that. And what she also deserves is for the spines to be broken in all of them.
No.
Yeah, she does. She does. But on the topic of carry on with this. Yeah.
I do wish we had got more of Jessamine story. Not that it justifies her betraying them, but I can't help but wonder: did something traumatic happen to her or her family? Well, I mean, her parents died in a fire, wasn't it? And she then had to go and live at an institute with a bunch of strangers.
She hates shadow hunters because her parents were
shadow
hunters and they died.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay.
So.
Lisa.
They died in a fire, though. It's not like they even died fighting demons. They died in a fire, which could have happened even if they were mundanes.
Yeah, but in her head, it'll be she'll have.
It was a demonic fire.
Yeah, she'll make some shit, won't she?
Gideon is a cinnamon roll.
So many cinnamon rolls in this series, though.
I liked Gideon and Sophie. Gabriel was a brat.
True.
Yeah. Gideon was very charming. I love Will and his obsession with Demon Fox, though. Absolutely love Will's little song. There's only one other Lightwood I really hate more than Benedict.
I wonder who that is.
I don't think it's Gabriel. I think I know who it is.
It's Maris.
Oh, maybe I was thinking more in this series.
All right.
Oh my god! If we ever got an Infernal Devices series, I don't want it. I love this series, which is why I don't want it to be adapted, because they've had 2 shots at more instruments and they were both horrendous. So let's not ruin Gem, please.
See, I could already envision it all in my head anyway. The way that, like, when I listen to it and like it plays out in my head anyway. So I don't need it in that form, because my imagination goes there anyway. But I love how Infernal Devices, the actual phrase, is mentioned in the book. Chain of Gold is also mentioned in the book, and I was like, oh my god, I love it when books do that.
I literally, one of my tabs and one of my things I wrote down was that we are chained to this life by a chain of gold, and we dare not sever it for fear of what lies beyond the drop. And I was like, and now, and also this book also now explains to me why this whole readathon is called By the Angel Along.
Yeah, because in the TMI series they do say By the Angel, but it's this series where it's
very, very prominent. By the Angel, by the Angel. Yeah, and I was like, oh, it makes sense now.
But like, on the topic of singing, can we just appreciate Bridget singing?
Oh, I love Bridget's songs.
her singing, like the actress who, like the narrator who does it, she does it in a proper Irish accent, and she warbles. So it's kind of like she's like, I fear I poisoned my own pretty boy. Like,
but it also comes across like she's singing while she's like chopping veg or doing something. So like her voice is wobbling, and I'm like, this is amazing. I love this.
And she's just carried on with the chores, and she's like, someone's been stabbed and there's blood pouring down.
Oh, what one was it? There was one.
It's always about betrayals, people being killed, while she's just washing and chopping veg and whatever.
For one of them, where Will's like, I swear that woman had a previous career as a death hunter selling tragic ballads down around the Seven Dial.
Oh, at one point Charlotte's like, yeah, we do have to sort that one out. We'll have to have a word about that.
Also, another nod to one of the other books was the Book of White among what he asked for?
Yes.
I tabbed that.
Yeah, the different books are mentioned, so I can't remember if Red Scrolls of Magic is mentioned, but obviously the Book of White is mentioned
Codex,
in this one. Yeah, the Codex, and then I don't know if the Black Volume of the Dead is mentioned in this series. I think it's mentioned at some point, but I have no idea where in the series it's mentioned. But yeah, so like I let the little nods.
Yeah.
And it's like if you know what the names of the future books are, you're like, hey.
I think that's why I notice it, because I own all the books, so I know like what they're all called.
Yeah.
And that's why I think I'm finding it slightly more intriguing, because I'm just like I now want to see where they're all gonna fit together, like how they all fit together.
And you realise why this is called the Infernal Devices. It's because of Henry's creations, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which, can we just appreciate him being really shocked that one of his inventions worked?
Yeah.
He's just so adorable. I love him.
He tries his best on it, bless him.
He does. I love this series too much to see a series. I can't imagine anyone playing these characters properly. No, not at all. Especially not the main 3. Like, I can't imagine who I would want. Like with some books, I can be like, oh, I can imagine this actor playing them. Like, no, literally no one in mind at all. Also, a random fact, Tessa's favourite Bronte book is Jane Eyre. I love the references to certain books. Yes. And Same, Tessa. Because my
love Jane
favourite, I mean, my
I
only
love her.
Bronte book I've read is Jane Eyre, but it's my favourite.
I love the fact that her and Will both love books as well, and they
Yeah.
can just talk about books.
I like how
And
each
she
chapter has
found
the.
she found the books. Like she saw his room with all the books, and then found the little letters inside the books that she'd written, and
Yeah.
like, oh,
Bless Henry forever.
forever.
I did have a few other things that I had. There's one thing I made a note of, which I literally put next to the note in my notes. Don't read out this one because it's something that links to a spoiler. So I was like, I want to write this note down. Like I'm writing it down, but I need to remember not to say it out loud. So I literally wrote in capitals, "Don't read out this one."
Oh, I want to know because I've read the next one, but you can tell me.
Maybe I'll double check which it is.
Oh, unless it's not the next book or if it's later on in the other series.
I need to remember because I think it might be a nod to something in the future. I'll double check though.
Oh, I liked the bit. I was just flicking through my my tabs, and the bit where you found out that about the different brothers and mothers thing.
Oh, that he killed his own mum.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, sorry, I didn't explain that very well. I was just trying to read over which section I was in.
Like he knew that she wasn't his sister.
That's it. Yeah.
Like you don't know how long he knew, or when did he say he found out? I can't remember when he said he found out, but
he found out from reading
Mother's
some
letters.
the letters,
So it was like when he was still in America, and then obviously I think that was also around about the same time he found out about like Mortmain and things like that.
And then Nate sort of like just deliberately kept trying to like throw the scent off about like what Tessa's who Tessa is, like telling people that she's a shadow hunter. And then I wrote down a bit later on where, you know, she was sort of like trying to work out who she is. Like, is she a part fairy? Like, what is she? You know, I'm still very,
like when she was talking to Hyacinth, she's like, "Am I a changeling?" She's like, "No, honey, you're not a changeling."
No, honey.
I love Hyacinth. She cracks me up.
That for me, I knew. I kind of had a feeling that you wouldn't know right now what she is, but the fact that she started explaining what a changeling was, and I'm like, is she? Oh my god, is that what happened? And they're like, no. And then it's like, oh well, but you know this, and then planning these thoughts, and you're like, oh,
can we just appreciate that? Obviously, Nate has put it into Jessie's head that she's half shadow hunter, half demon, and that's like why she's like how she is and everything. And then they're like, yeah, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the truth. It's just her truth. But can we appreciate, even though they've been told that she is half shadow hunter, half demon, when she was injured, they didn't just, let's put a rune on her and test it like Jace did with Clary in the first book. They actually, you know, let her heal naturally because, you know, who's to know if that's true or not? And they can't risk it. But Jace was just in TMI, was just like, yeah, let's do it. And just puts a rune on Clary.
See if it works. But how are you going to find out if she's a shadow hunter, though?
I actually can't remember. So this is easy to be neutral because I can't remember the third book.
Like, because you're not going to do a Jace because nobody is that stupid other than Jace.
Not everyone is as chaotic good as Jace.
But, yeah, it's like, I want to know if she... I don't think she's a warlock. Because, again, she doesn't have a mark. But, I don't know. I kind of want her to be part shadow hunter just because I want her to be accepted by other people within. But then again, she probably still won't be accepted because she's not a full shadow hunter. Either way, she's not a full shadow hunter.
No matter what, she's some sort of downworlder, and like they look down. Like when they go to the York Institute, and there's like that room full of the spoils. Like that actually made me feel sick every time I read it. Like I absolutely hate it.
What is with the York Institute though? He was weird.
Oh, wasn't he
was.
Do you know who he reminds me of? Have you seen Game of Thrones?
Yeah.
He reminds me of Wilder Frey from Game of Thrones, played by David Bradley, the one who plays Filch.
Oh
He
my god.
reminds me of him.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if this was ever created as a series, he should play Starkweather.
He was just
It
strange, wasn't he? It was just.
yeah. And then the fact that Will was like, this shouldn't be a thing. Like it's not generally handed down through families like this. I feel like I can't believe they spent quite a bit of time, a bit of page time talking about that. So I don't feel like that's gonna be a throwaway thing. I think that might come back. If it don't come back later, I don't see the point in having that discussion. Because it's not like it was a throwaway comment, was it? They actually had a discussion about it. So I feel like that might come back later down the line. Because they did spend a lot of time saying how weird it was and how like, there was, that family's been around the institute for a while and how run down it was and stuff. And it was just very weird.
Mm. We love our bookish main character because they're just like us.
Yeah.
Nate is messed up.
Yeah.
Nate had issues, and I was not expecting how extreme those issues were.
Yeah. And how much hate he had for Tessa when she's done nothing wrong. The poor girl was just born. Like, give her a break.
Yeah, these characters make smarter decisions than the characters in TMI.
Yeah.
She's just a thing. Didn't he die? No, I didn't. He didn't. I'm mistaken. Yeah, no, because he after the attack at the end, he comes up to her and was like, "Did it hurt you?" So yeah, he's not dead. Very old, but not dead.
But
I'm trying to. Nate is dead. I felt. Do you know what? I cried, but I cried more for Tessa.
Yeah.
Because even though he's hurt her, she still grew up her entire life with him as her brother, and she loved him. So I was crying for Tessa, not for Nate. Nate got what he deserved.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely. But yeah, I was crying for her because I think that even though he had betrayed her, if he'd have come out and been like, "Oh, I was doing it, I was a double agent or whatever," she'd have forgiven him. I think she probably would have been hoping that he wasn't really as bad as he ended up being. Because she kept saying, even though she didn't want to be hurt by what he was saying, she was hurt by what he was saying. She shouldn't care, but she does. And she couldn't just switch off her feelings like that. He genuinely did not love her. He didn't have any feelings for her all day, whereas she loved him as a brother. And this has obviously happened over a really short space of time, hasn't it? So
yeah,
it's not as easy to just switch your feelings off for someone that you love, is it? So
and the thing
I was
is
crying
that
for her.
the way he was at the end when he knew he was dying and he was all lovely to her, like, that was just him having a guilty conscience because he was dying.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't sorry in the slightest to everything he's done.
Like, I think if it would have been better if he had died an arsehole, not tried to be nice. Like,
but also the fact that I think it was either Sophie or Charlotte she was talking to afterwards, and they were like, "Oh, I'm sorry about Nate," and she's like, "Don't be, like, he did all this stuff," and it's like, "Yeah, but he was still your brother." Like, and I like how they like say that to her because she deserves to be able to mourn, like, for the brother she had before he decided to do what he did.
Yeah, definitely.
But I just realised we didn't mention a thing. The pink drinks that Tessa and Will had. That caused the little moment on the balcony.
See, that for me was just, what was it? Magnus came in. I was like, what have you all little kids been up to?
I just love Magnus. Like, he's always there at the perfect moment.
But yeah, that one was another thing that I was just kind of like, it just like, what is it? They both dropped the
The horny.
they dropped their inhibitions, didn't they? Is that why she turned back? Because it
affected her.
It
affected her shape-shifting.
Yeah.
Also, I think there was a comment about Tessa having to like act like she's in love with Will, and she was like, "Will, I'm a shapeshifter, not an actor." And it was like, ooh.
She was
like,
very
yes!
her snappiness with him at times and her coldness with him, like
I loved it.
that did shock me at times where she's like,
I loved it so much. And then she was pressed in boobily all over her dress.
I love it. I wish she changed it to Jessima's male clothing. Will walked in. He's like, you don't look male. And Sophie's like, look at yourself. And then they were like, oh, can you just change it to Jessima now then?
It's like, why, Will? Why do you want her to hurry up and not look like herself? Could it be this again?
He didn't need that juice to be lusting over her, did he?
Magnus is a beautiful being of chaos, and I just love him. This is literally, this comment could like be in every single live show to do with the Shadowhunters. Because Magnus. He's the one constant.
Even back then, he had a soft spot for Shadowhunters. He had a soft spot for helping people out. And it's just, you can tell that it's just in his nature. He can't help helping people. He wants to be like, oh, I'm this bad warlock. I would take your, I'll help you if I take your money or whatever. But he just can't. He can't do it, can he? And
I cannot wait for us to get to the Bane Chronicles because it's an entire book of just Magnus.
They're brilliant. Yeah.
The way that he talks about Will, though, about how he feels with fire, and he says how much of a bright person Will is, like, and with his feelings and stuff, and how he talks about him in a really positive light, and like he really genuinely cares about Will, and you can tell he does. I really loved how he talked about him then.
He's just so adorable. I just want to like wrap him up. I love him.
Can we just talk about church? Still, will be like the cat attacking him all the time.
I love Church. Church is brilliant.
The bloody old cat, though, isn't it?
I have one more thing to talk about, which is probably one of the biggest things because it's literally the last page of the book. To say that.
Yeah, I was mentioning it.
Cecily Herondale.
I know.
Getting another Herondale because one Herondale is never enough.
No, that bit was. Oh yeah, that bit broke me as well.
I knew that was coming, but I'd forgotten. So when I was like rereading it, and then when we got to the bit where he like has this like Cecily was there, I was just like, oh, Cecily.
I forgot it was the end of book 2. For some reason, I thought it was book 3. So when it happened, I was like, oh damn.
Yeah, so that whole thing with when he saw his sister and they couldn't approach her and stuff.
I know,
that was like that was horrible. And then when she turned up at the end, now that he knows that he can be around his family again and that he doesn't have to push them away, she then turns up. I was like, oh my god, he doesn't have to, he can actually like be happy that she's there.
Yeah. I'm
so excited for book 3.
Is Church the same church in hell? Do you know what? I actually don't know.
I'm pretty sure it is the same. Old...
The thing is, I'm pretty sure it is the same cat because literally described exactly the same.
Yeah.
Has the same name and hangs around institutes.
And it's still a bit of a vicious fucker, isn't it, at times? So...
Yeah. And I'm like...
Is it really a cat?
I don't know how.
I don't understand.
I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
Can we ask Cassie? Can we send her an email? Like, can you just,
I wonder if anyone's ever asked her at a book signing event thing. Just been like, can you please explain Church?
Well, unless you could shout through that weird setup at Yalk, I don't think you were going to get an answer out of anyone. Bloody hellfires.
I'm glad Cassie's choice to put him in every single Shadowhunter book and gave him his own book of short stories plus the Malik Adventures. Yes. Yes. Yes, very excited for the Bane Chronicles, but also Tales to the Shadowhunter Academy for many reasons. Same. Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy is my favourite of all of them. But please, for the love of God, do not read the blurb if you haven't caught up to that point of the books. So I'm looking at you, Lisa.
Tessa?
Like, yeah. I've got Tessa on the
I'll
brain.
take it.
Maybe it will be revealed. It will be in the last paragraph of the last Wicked Powers book. She'll just explain church.
Oh, it'll be like, and like some shit will go down. I'm like, and church walked off into the sunset to find another academy to go. There'd be chaos everywhere in church, and we sat there just licking his paws.
Possibly, church is familiar.
Yeah.
But with that
But
could
familiars
explain.
attached to the. It wouldn't explain what. No, familiars die though. The familiars aren't immortal.
No, but they can live like a long time. Isn't Archer the same familiar that Camille has in Mortal Instruments? I'm sure she has a familiar in Mortal Instruments called Archer.
I'm emailing Cassie Clare.
I can't remember.
I don't Google anything Cassie Clare in case I find a spoiler.
Yeah, same.
If you ever want to Google something, just ask me. I'll Google it for you.
Like
so
when
I
was first reading through the series a couple of years ago, before I knew you guys, I was talking to my friend about it, and she was like, "For the love of God, do not Google like a family tree because it will spoil all of the books."
Oh, right. You say this. When I went into the Chain of Gold, I was very confused about a few things with like relations because I've seen the family trees. Cassie has said that family tree that has previously been around in, I think there was a special edition of this or one of the books in this series that had the family trees, or I think it might have been City of Heavenly Fire, but she has said they might not be very accurate.
Oh.
So you have to just read the books to find out what the actual family tree should be. Because the family trees are really confusing. Like, so confusing. I think there was some offhanded mention about Magnus and Church, but I'll have to look it up. Oh. Chain of Thorns is not going to be the last Shadowhunter book. So we've got Chain of Thorns, which needs to still be released. We have the third book in the Eldest Curses, which I cannot remember what it's called. Then we're going to have the 3 books in the Wicked Powers series. I believe the Wicked Powers series is going to follow on directly from the Dark Art of Isis, which makes me very happy. And it's going to be following 2 of my favourite characters from the Dark Art of Isis. So I don't know if she's bringing out any other short story collections like Bane Chronicles and that, and like goes to the Shadow Market, but as it stands, there are 5 more to come out, like 5 books to come out. And I need them all now.
What is she going to write after? What's she going to write after the Shadowhunter?
Oh, she's already started writing another book called, I think it's Swordcatcher, which is nothing to do with Shadowhunters. It is a brand new project, and I'm like, right, this sounds great, but please concentrate on Shadowhunters until you finish that, because no. I don't want you to be like doing a Samantha Shannon with like, oh, I stopped writing Bone Season for a bit to write Priory. Like, no, finish the series you're writing, please, and then do a new series.
Yeah, I've just put on her website, it says coming soon, January 2023, Chain of Thorns, and then underneath says the Swordcatcher, the first book in a new adult fantasy series.
Adult fantasy.
Is it going to be some spice?
Probably not. She writes Fade to Black. Warlocks are immortal. Maybe Church is a cursed warlock. Oh, I like that theory.
Let's go with that.
Like that theory. I kind of want to Google to see if it has been mentioned. I can't spoil myself. I've read everything up to this point, so I'm fine. Don't know how she'll ever finish Shadowhunters after being in this world for long. It would be so bittersweet. Yeah, I feel like something big's going to have to happen as well. Like, it can't just be the end of a series. Something major is going to have to happen, because I feel like it can't just be oh, this series is wrapped up. Bye. Like, something major needs to happen
They're
at the
gonna
end of
do
the
what they
Wicked
did at the end of
Powers.
Charmed, aren't they?
To be honest, I want her to just give everyone happy endings and I'll be fine. And then I won't care. Rosie popped in to say hi and then bye. Luckily, at a point where we weren't talking spoilers.
I think my theory is gonna be that the Academy is gonna blow up. Some main characters are gonna die, and
let's hope Clary's one of them.
See, I can't even talk about any theories I have because some of my theories involve characters in future books. So I can't.
I know the Blackthorns turn up because you've mentioned them so many times. So.
Oh yeah, that's the one. Thank you, Lisa.
So I know that family turns up at some point. So yeah, that's my theory. They're gonna do a whole Charmed situation where like shit just gets blown up at the end, and it's like push that.
Me looking at my bookshelves trying to figure out where those 5 books are gonna go. Same.
Yeah,
my Cassie shelf is already double stacked.
My bookcases in the other room are like taller than they are wider, so they're more like boxy shelves, and they all of the books as they are at the moment take up one box shelf.
Oh no!
Well, to be fair, I do have duplicate copies of the Eldest Curses books. So.
One theory states that it was Necromancer from the Dark Sisters, which makes sense since that's where they found him. Okay, yeah, that would make sense.
Oh.
That makes sense. That'd be pretty cool as well. And maybe that's why he's such a aggressive cat as well.
To be fair, cats are generally aggressive anyway, aren't they? So.
Yeah, but he's overly, because then if you look at Chairman Meow in the TMI, like Magnus's cat in the TMI series, he's just pretty chill. He just goes about his day. He's chill. He's like, "You're there? Oh, okay, cool, hi." Like he's not aggressive. And Church is just overly aggressive.
Yeah. Clearly doesn't like Will.
Not gonna lie, I'm not looking forward to getting back to Clary after this, but Jace, I'm looking forward to it because City of Heavenly Fire is such a good book. I love City of Heavenly Fire.
I'm totally gonna read City of Heavenly Fire, even though it's been like 2 years since I read the last book 5. But I'm sure I can find a synopsis online.
Or just watch our live show from City of Lost Souls. We fully go into spoilers there.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm probably convinced that the minute I start reading, I'll be like,
yeah. To be fair, if I'd read this years ago and jumped back in, I feel like it's not that complex. It'll be easy to remember.
That's why it didn't take me long to get through this, because it was a reread. And when I was going through it, I was like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
I remember this.
It's not like it's a massive, complex, high adult fantasy plot, is it?
No.
Yeah.
Her writing on Core Pile for me always gets like a 6, because I don't actually find her writing that sort of like amazing, if you know what I mean. Like, I like the way she writes, but not like she's not overly complicated in writing.
I think her writing for me gets an 8 on Core Pile. So I can see some faults in her writing. Like, I know it's not perfect, but I am trash for her books. Everyone always acts like I'm like I can find no fault with her, but I can. But I just love her. I just wait for the new books to arrive and pray I can find room. I feel that pain. Zombie cat. He wants brains and dreamies.
I love that. Yep, definitely.
I've just realised we missed a major thing to talk about, so I feel like we should quickly talk about it. We found out why Mortmain hates Shadowhunters so much, with the whole thing of his warlock parents being killed.
Yes.
And I can kind of see why he hates them so much.
I can. But
this is the point where I'm like, oh, I'm seeing things from the villain's point of view here. I don't like this.
Yeah.
Because he is tarring all Shadowhunters with the same brush, but at the same time, all the Shadowhunters he's met have been the same.
True.
So I can
There you go.
understand where he's coming from, but he's still wrong.
Yeah.
Cassie's not a perfect writer, but I just love this world and characters the same. It's not an excuse. Same as with Thanos. Like, just putting it out there. Just because I can understand why he is the way he is doesn't mean I'm excusing him. Like, he's a bad person. He deserves to pay.
Yeah, I think he has taken it a bit too far. I say a bit too far. He's taken it very,
I
very
feel like
far.
he should have just gone after the people that actually killed his parents and then
Yeah.
just left the rest of the Shadowhunters alone. That would have been justified.
Yeah, definitely. I would 100% have been like, yeah, you get your revenge, do you? But
Yeah.
to just totally
Not
try
all
and bring down,
Shadowhunters.
yeah, to just try and wreck innocent people's lives, it's a little bit too far. Just a smidge.
Just a tad.
Just
Just a tad. But yeah, I definitely don't have any more notes now. Like,
No, me
I've
neither.
definitely talked through everything that, you know, we wanted to talk about. So Lisa, do you have anything else?
No, I don't know what's going to happen in the next book though.
Do you have
Well,
any theories at all?
Jem and Tessa get married. They're gonna have to, aren't they? Well, might not actually. I don't know.
Gonna have to, aren't they?
if they
Right, ain't
must,
it? It's gonna be a happy ending, isn't it? They get married.
that'll be happy ending. Yeah.
We're gonna find a magical cure for Jem. Somehow it'll be like a last minute thing. They're not gonna kill off Jem, are they?
Well,
Like
you don't know.
it was YA
Oh,
that was
boy.
written 10 years ago. They're not gonna kill off Jem. They're gonna find some magical cure that they haven't found, that they haven't thought of before. I don't know. The thing is, because Carstairs isn't fucking flashing at me again. Carstairs isn't a name that you hear in the TMI books, so I don't know. I don't know, because you hear of Herondale, you hear of Fairchild. I don't know. I don't know. I hope
Sorry, I'm
Jessamine
just
dies.
laughing. Catherine was just like,
I'm just not good at
Just
keeping a straight
hide,
face.
hide.
I want Jessamine to die.
It's a mutual feeling.
And I want to know how the Lightwoods end up being where they are in the Institute, because like I know this was like years and years before, but obviously at some point they move up in the world, don't they?
Hmm.
But it might not. I actually can't remember if they're the same branch of the Lightwood family tree. Because obviously there are many that, you know, there's going to be loads of Lightwoods all over the place. So like with the Starkweathers, he runs the York Institute, but they mention about his children that moved to Idris. So that's a different branch of the tree now, going that way.
No, true.
And I can't actually remember the family tree because it's a mess.
So I don't know. My prediction is Jessamine might end up having a change of heart and will end up dying, like trying to be a heroine or hero or whatever. But I want her to die. Jem's gonna get a magical cure, marry Tessa. And obviously Charlotte's gonna have a baby
Mm.
because she's pregnant.
Will it be called Buford?
Called Buford. She'll give it to Henry and call it Buford. And we're finally gonna find out what Tessa is. Is she an automaton that's been given a heart? I'm joking. She's actually She is a Clockwork princess. She actually has gears inside her.
I'm reading the Lunar Chronicles series, and when you said that, I was just like,
I can understand his pain, Betty went a smidge too far. Yeah. I'm so excited for the next one, but also very nervous. I'm nervous, and I know what happens. I've got that, like, you know, when like you're about to read the final book in a trilogy and you don't know what's going to happen. I've got that feeling, but I do know what's going to happen, so I don't know why I've got that feeling.
I've got that feeling, but only because it's been 2 years, and the longer time passes between books, the more I forget in the moment, but the minute I start reading them again, my brain goes, oh, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
So I know that the minute I start, I'll be like,
lips sealed. I'm just like, just nod to everything that is said. Becca's trying so hard to keep the poker face. It's so hard sometimes, honestly.
I cracked.
Sometimes I'm like, I'm just gonna hold this here just in case, and other times I'm like, I've got this, I can keep this straight face to everything that's said. But on that note, I will say we're actually organised enough that we have the date for the Clockwork Princess live show. It will be the 31st of August, so it's exactly 4 weeks from today. It's got to be a bit earlier because me and Catherine have holidays.
I don't think you want a live show from the beach.
I don't want it to be. The thing is, I don't want it to be so late in September because of reading City of Heavenly Fire, which is a chunky book. So we're doing it earlier and having it on the 31st of August. So I will tweet about it and everything in advance so everyone knows. But thank you both for joining. Thank you, ladies. It was lovely chatting with you once again. Thank you for joining. Glad that you were able to join.
Thank you.
And we'll see you in 4 weeks for the next live show to find out how this trilogy is finished. Yay! Bye!
I'm excited.